Hey there, my friends. Today I'm going to answer 28 random questions. Why? Well, maybe I have a mental disorder that makes me just want to answer 28 random questions. That's one option. The other option is a lovely viewer named Lavinia. She asked to interview me for her trilingual blog, actually, English, Spanish, and Romanian. How's that for an intelligent person? And she sent me the questions and invited me to do them on video or audio and send them to her. She'll translate. But I thought I'll do them on video. And if you're at all interested, here we go. And if you're not interested, click off the video right now. Lavinia, thank you for these lovely questions. Some of them I haven't even looked at, so we're going to see what happens. And I'm going to do my best to be very brief on these answers so that this isn't a 28-hour-long video. Are you ready? Go. Define yourself in 5 adjectives. I'm not totally sure what an adjective is. I think it is something that it's a word that describes something. So based on that, maybe definition, 5 adjectives about me: curious, humorous, intuitive, intimate, playful. Notice I use 5 good ones. I'll leave the bad ones for another day. I'll just sweep those under the rug, actually. Define what you do in 2 sentences. I help people help themselves heal their hearts, and I make videos. What were the key moments of your career path? That's a great question. I think starting my YouTube channel was one, but probably the most important key moment of my career path was taking the risk of beginning to work with people and emotional healing and helping them help themselves heal their hearts. That was definitely a risk. A scary one, yet it was a very monumental moment for me when I initiated that work with people. Why did you decide to do what you do? To be honest, it doesn't really feel like I decided to do this. It feels more like I was just kind of following the proverbial light of the North Star in my sky. I feel in a way like it was decided for me, and my journey is just to surrender to that. I know that sounds a little bit abstract, but screw it. It's my answer. Home is Charleston, South Carolina. Last play you saw, it was a kind of like a dance ballet performance. I think it was called Shen Yun, maybe. It was a beautiful Chinese dance company doing an interpretation of Chinese history. It was really amazing, and I probably butchered it. I think Shen Yun. What would you do if you were mayor for a day? That's a great question. I think I would walk around, meet people, and want to learn about people. As many people as I could learn something about in the town for a day. That's what the heck I would do if I were mayor. And I'd probably, like if there was a bunch of candy in the office, free candy, I would eat all of that. Because if I only have a day, I want to get my money's worth. And it's free, so that's easy to do, but also tempting to do a lot of. Biggest extravagance? I don't know. That's a great question. Let me actually answer the question rather than saying I don't know. Biggest extravagance, I would say my house. I love my house. It's a beautiful house. I mean, it's just a near and dear place to my heart. Kind of home is where the heart is, and my heart is home. Yet my house it's much more than just I need, me and my dog. So it's a beautiful extravagance for me, and I feel very fortunate to have it. Who's your hero? It's a good question. I'm going to play a little Joseph Campbell on this and say I am my own hero. Okay, that's arrogant as hell of you, JP. I would dare say in my hero's journey, I've given myself a lot of great opportunities because I've had the courage to take them, to initiate things, to walk into the mystery of the dark forest of the unknown that I don't know what's in there. So, I'm really grateful to myself, and I'm going to say that part of me is my hero. Best piece of advice you've ever been given? Find the middle way. I don't know who gave it to me. I probably read it. But seeking the middle way. Man, there is just universal truth in that through my relatively minded opinion. Finding the middle way. Building you'd like to be locked in overnight. Yikes. I think I would appreciate not being locked in any buildings. That triggers some of my claustrophobia, probably. I would like to be locked outside of a building overnight, actually. I sleep inside of a building every single night, my house. I'd like to be locked outside of a building, preferably my house. I'd camp in my own backyard. What do you collect? Experiences of going places, interacting with people. Those intangibles for me are the most important things I can collect. They're not things, obviously. If you could be any age for a week, what age would that be? I think I'd want to be 80 years old for a week. I'd love to experience just what life is like through the lens of my 80-year-old self. I make up a story that when I'm 80, I'll be pretty zenned out, like in a legit way, not just wearing the facade of being zen. I do that sometimes now. So maybe that's not what I would be like when I would be 80, but I make up that story, and therefore I'd be really curious to interpret life through my 80-year-old self for 1 week. What talent do you yearn for? Playing the guitar. That'd be awesome. Never had one lesson. Therefore, I wonder why the talent hasn't shown up. What is your greatest fear? Life passing me by too quickly. And unfortunately, that's happening. Time just accelerates. It goes by faster and faster. I feel like I never have enough time. I worry that I'll be falling off the face of the earth and still have not done things that my heart and soul wanted to do here. Or they do whatever they want to do here anyway. Probably that my ego didn't get to do things that it wants to do, that it just called my heart and soul in that previous sentence to feel better about itself. When did you last lie and why? Probably in that previous question. And why I lied in that previous question was because I couldn't think of a better answer. And in this moment, I think my answer to the previous question was actually truthful. So that actually makes my most recent lie this very question. What is true happiness? For me, what a truer form of true happiness is, other than true happiness, is contentment. So I'm going to push all my chips into the center of the table and bet on contentment. What is the meaning of life? Yikes. I don't think the meaning of life is to find the meaning of life. I think the meaning of life is to be present with what we're doing in the moment, what's going through the miracle of our human body, mind, and emotions in any given moment. So I dare say that would mean, to me in this moment, the meaning of life might be being present with ourselves. rather than trying to get somewhere other than where we are and trying to be someone other than who we are. What book do you recommend most to others? I think Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. I read it for the first time when I was 20 years old. It had a big impact on me. For the positive. I guess a book could be negative, but this one was positive for me. Which lesson has been the hardest to learn? Accepting myself and accepting where I'm at. I'm in a constant struggle against myself, trying to be something more than who I am, trying to do more than I'm actually intended to do in any given moment. So that's a big struggle for me. It doesn't last any more than probably 23 and a half hours every day. Who is your mentor? I think the biggest one I would put into attached to this question is John McMullen, just an angel inside of a human body. His organization is called Journeys of Wisdom, journeysofwisdom.com. I took my first class, workshop, experience with him December 3rd, 2003. So he and I have been rolling along. It's been a lovely 13 years, I guess, coming up on 13 years of getting to learn just light years of wisdom from this lovely person. And it's not part of the question, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think the biggest thing I've learned from John is how to tap into my own wisdom, not using him as a source of knowledge, telling me what to think and programming me, but some kind of opening in my heart, third eye and pineal gland and elbows and whatever other parts of my body that we want to pretend are spiritual. There's been openings there, and they've been really meaningful to me. Thank you, John. What is the hardest part of being you? It's a good question. In this moment, I want to say part of me likes to try and outdo what I've done. It's a way of each time I do something that is achieve some level of success, however you want to define that. Part of me then creates an expectation that I'm supposed to go beyond that and fast. So that gets me in a cycle of really competing with myself, and it's hard to feel playful and relaxed and just chill out when I'm in a competitive mindset. So yeah, I think competing with myself is one of the hardest parts of being me. If you could ask someone famous a question, what would it be? I think I would ask Samuel L. Jackson, the actor, what experiences in your life created the fire that you tap into when you're playing some of your characters? I loved him in Pulp Fiction. So I'd be curious, like, what's behind that fire and that rapture that just comes out of him? Then he'd probably shoot me with pepper spray right in the eyes and tell me to get the hell away from him. But that's what I would ask him. In a biographical film of your life, who would you like to play you? Man, that's a great question. It'd be weird if I had someone older play me, but I think I'm going to go that route. Actually, I want to say Edward Norton is another actor. I think it'd be awesome for him to play me. Why? Because I think he captures the nuances of his characters really well. So I think I would see things about me that he would capture that I don't otherwise see when I look into the mirror of my life, just with my own eyeball, feeling-oriented sensitivity. Edward Norton. What is your favorite childhood memory? When I was between the ages of 4 and 5, my family, my mom, dad, and sister, and I lived with my grandparents on my father's side while our house was being built. So we lived with them for a year. And I have these very fond memories of my grandma Sears reading me Batman and Superman comic books. And while she would be reading me the comic book, I would have the corresponding action figure in my hand. So like I'd be holding Batman while she'd be reading me the Batman comic book. And that's a very warm, loving memory, very just wonderful memory that I'll cherish for a long time. What's your best achievement? That's such a great question. And a hard question. What is my best achievement? I'll answer this in a very intangible way. I think accepting myself to the degree that I have. I have a better answer, because that contradicts with some of my previous answers. But this other answer, I think, is just a little more true for me right now. Paying attention to what wants to live through me. Yeah, paying attention to what feels like my purpose and honoring that. To me, that is the scariest thing for my ego to do in life, yet it's the most rewarding experience that I've ever found in life. Honoring what wants to live through me and saying yes to it. What's your goal for this year? In a way, my goal is to not have any goals. But let me actually be a little bit less defiant to this question. I think for my goal for this year is to continue to pay attention to what wants to live through me, because it's never the same. I think what wants to live through all of us continually expands, gets wider and deeper. It's never the same. I think life is infinite, and I think infinity is always bigger than we think we are. So my goal would be to pay attention to what wants to live through me, because some of it's going to be new. Some of it's going to be more multidimensional than, say, last year. So there's a lot for me to pay attention to. And I would dare say maybe you too. Send me a photo taken by you and tell me its story. Last question of the interview. I did see this one beforehand, so I'm glad I did, because I've got a photo queued up. And I'll be emailing this to Lavinia, the blogger. But for now, if you can see that, you can hear my autofocus going. How fun is that? So that is a picture. I'm going to hear my autofocus going again. That's a picture of my dog in the back seat of my car, my dad standing on the other side of the car. That was taken in late February 2014 when I was leaving California. That was in Carlsbad, California. I had my car loaded up with just whatever I could fit in it. Most of the back seat was dedicated to Zephyr, having his bed back there. And I was moving across the country to Charleston, South Carolina, where I live now. And it was really wonderful. My father flew to San Diego from Ohio, where he lives, to do the drive with me. And it's fun to look at like that photo, like right before we started the drive, because that drive was the initiation of something incredibly special between my dad and I. It took our relationship to a new level. And previously we had a good relationship. It's not like we had a falling out or, we were in the mafia and he tried to kill me, nothing like that. But this 3.5 day car ride across the country where we're in a car almost all day, every day, just something special happened between he and I. We bonded in a way it's still perpetuating to this day in my experience. It's getting deeper and richer. So that picture to me symbolizes a very magical experience with my dad and of course my dog. So that is the end of the interview or the question. So Lavinia, thank you for inviting me to be a part of your lovely offering to the world on your blog. And for all of you lovely viewers who tuned in for these 28 questions, I appreciate your curiosity, and I think more importantly, I'd ask you to ask yourself these 28 questions about you. You might be interested to hear how you would answer them. Talk to you guys next time.